Alright, another Tuesday stream with a new mask unit. So let's begin. But first, cards for the last few days. So first off, let's start off with the new Orphis stuff from the Dokuvan stream. The first card being Cardinal Nordgrunder. Grade 2 tank power and skills. Although, when placed on rearguard from hand, if your world is Dark Knight or Abyssal Dark Knight, look at top 7 cards of your deck. If you do, search for up to 2 world cards from among them and put them to the drop zone and of course shuffle your deck. This is for Orphis Regus purposes. So thinning out your deck plus 1 world card for Orphis Regus, basically. But anyway, second skill, auto rearguard. At the end of the battle that this unit attacks a Vanguard, if your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, retire this unit, choose 1 world card from your drop zone and add it to your hand. So basically also your world recycler, which is obviously not too bad because first skill already mills 1, second one basically just lets you recycle some of them, which you will be discarding some of them, I'm going to be realistic. And another nice part is that because it clears itself from the field and you get something back, you basically don't really lose much out of it. You could also use that return world card as discard fodder for Regus and for more token attacks basically. So overall not too bad. Just wondering about the spacing though. Next, Cardinal Principal La Field. Grade 1, 5k power and the skills. Although, when placed on rearguard from hand, if your world is Abyssal Darkness, cost Soul Blast 1, call Shadow Army token on rearguard in the same column as this unit. Overall not bad even though it's 5k base, but what's important is that it doesn't lose itself to call the token compared to some certain other cards, but some certain other cards can do much better because Soul Charge, like that one promo. But Soul Blast to call 1 token isn't too bad, especially when the token's gonna get extra power through to one of your world cards, and 1 token basically means 1 more attack. But this one's overall optional. And now to a new type of generic cards. Last time we got Persona Ride based cards. This time we got a Ride based card for both Ride deck and Persona Ride. The first one for Brandgate is Tempered Blade of Research Habitable Zone. Grade 2 tanky power and skills. Although, when discarded from hand during your ride phase, cost Soul Blast 1, place this card to the bottom deck to draw a card. This doesn't exactly matter too much, it's the second skill where, although, when placed on rearguard, if you Persona Ride during the turn, cost Counter Blast 1, search your deck for 1 set order, reveal it and add to your hand, and of course shuffle your deck. And during this turn you can play up to a total of 2 set orders this turn, but the next one you play can be played without a cost. That is very powerful on many different decks, especially for Brandgate, because being able to play 2 set orders in 1 turn basically means more power. But not only that, nullifying the costs of certain set orders. That's a huge deal right there. Because of course, saving more resources, the better. Of course, it is under a Persona Ride clause, so this is probably not going to be a 4-up, but overall pretty good. And now to the regular card of the days that I think are pretty good. First off, we got a rare, Evocating Wheezing, which is a grade 0 Stokehail normal order, which is also rare, and you play it by counterblasting 1. You look at top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with grade equal or greater than your Vanguard, reveal it and put it to your hand and discard the rest. It's a grade 0 normal order, meaning you can play it on your very first turn, which can also mean filtering, because this basically lets you search for anything in early game. In Gryphokila it's even better of course because grade 10, but overall not too bad. Next, a decent common for Almajestar, Guildforce Celtis. Grade 1 AK power and skills. Act rearguard. If your Vanguard is Almajestar, cost retire this unit. Choose up to 2 critical triggers from your bind zone and put them to soul. This basically just lets you reuse those triggers as costs. With the new Masques Astroea, it's not going to really matter as much because you do want to build up those critical triggers in the bind zone. But with regular Astroea Unica, this actually can matter because you want to be constantly soul blasting those triggers, and Soul Blasting the crits also really help because you just need to build up to 3 and that's all you need. And then for a new Cater Sanctuary rare, Trumpet of Blessings. It's a grade 3 normal order, and you play it by Soul Blasting 1. Look at top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or less card from among them and call it to rearguard, and then put the rest of the top of the deck in any order. Do you know what's nice? Lets you call for anything, and also stack your deck at the top, so that is pretty tough. On top of that, it's a grade 3, so Bastion can make use of this. So overall, it's not too bad. Just not sure if you have space for it, but I might tech this card in somehow. And now to the Tuesday stream. First up, before we go to the new cards, here are the new reprints for Festival Collection. And some of them will have new art, which I like. But not only that, yay, trigger reprints again. We really need these to be reprinted. And I really truly mean that because these are 4-ups. So more access to it, the better. And now to the new cards themselves. First off, let's just start off with the generic stuff with the Dragon Tree Wretch Skull Kadem. The skill is the same thing as the Stokea Dragon Tree from this set, and stats are the same as well. Grade 2 tanky powers, and when placed on rear guard, from auto of course, costs Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose one rear guard with a Dragon Tree marker on it, put a Dragon Tree marker and insert your deck for one Dragon of high trigram from your deck to your hand. Which pretty much confirms that every nation is going to get one of these, and maybe not Lyrical. We're just questioning if Lyrical will get Dragon Tree Wretched cards or not. And then to the Dark State version of the Persona Ride card, Black Sky Thundering Quaking Queen Lemia. Grade 2, tanky power and skills. Auto, when discarded from hand during a ride phase, cost Soul Blast 1, put this to the bottom deck and draw a card. So basically the same thing as the Brandgate one. So moving on to the second skill where it's unique. Auto, when placed on rearguard from hand, if you Persona Ride this turn, cost Counter Blast 1, choose a card from your soul and call it to rearguard. If you call a card, Soul Charge 1. Not too bad, a generic card that you can run in every Dark State deck just for another call. It is locked in Persona Ride and probably not as great as the Brandgate one, but overall not too bad. And now to the new Almajestar cards themselves, the first one being Twin Marvel Dragon. It's a grade 1 weight, can power the skill is auto rearguard once per turn. When you would Soul Blast 3 or more cards at the same time for a cost of your Vanguard, look at the top card of your deck, put it on the top or to your soul, and this unit gets 2 key power until end turn. Keep in mind this is a specific timing and it's generic, meaning that there are other Dark State decks that could actually use this. And it's nice that you can look at the top card of the deck, and whether you want to let it be a trigger or be a soul charge, that is pretty good right there. It's choice soul charging in a way. Overall pretty decent for many Dark State decks. I'll really run this in Dredgewed and probably Unica as well, or in this case Almajestar. Because our new mask unit is called Xeno Almajestar Astroea Bico Mask. Yeah, it doesn't have Unica name, so I just found that a little weird. So first off, same continuous ability like Zorga, except it's for Astroea, where count, this card can only be written on top of a grade 3 Astroea. And in the second skill, where act Vanguard once per turn costs, remove a Astroea with different name from your hand, soul, or drop, and then choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it. And this unit gets us drive +1 until the end turn. Not too bad here. Third skill, Auto Vanguard. When this unit attacks, cost Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1. Bind all the critical triggers that were used for this cost, and then choose one of your rear guards, stand it. And then this and that unit gets plus 5k power for every 2 critical triggers in your bind zone. So few things about Astroea Mask compared to Unica. The big one is that this one is not really locked to how many critical triggers that are bound compared to the original, because that one you want to just put your critical triggers up to 3. This one you basically want to build it up over time, but it's not super necessary in comparison. And another noticeable thing, you basically traded a crit for a restand for this, because this one still retains the retire and the drive. It's just not locked on how many critical triggers in the bind zone. So that is not too bad, although it is locked to the Astroea. And then the other one, you cannot spread your power up compared to the original. The original gives 5k for every trigger you soul blasted. This one, it's only itself and the stood unit. In a way, it could be better because even more power and more triggers that are bound basically, or in this case crits, the more power you get. So there are ups and downs for this one and the original. I would say you go to Unica if you're still in the early game, go to this one if you're trying to finish the game. Especially by then, you're probably going to build up a huge pile of bind zone critical triggers to the point of mass power. So overall, not too bad. So that's it for these new reveals. What do you guys think about the new Astroea mask? Overall, not too bad. I kind of like it. Although unfortunately it lost the crit, I wish that it retains the crit so it just feels more like an upgrade. But overall, not too bad. Feels more like a finisher for Astroea, while the regular Astroea is basically more of an early game pressure card. And in a way it works actually, because that one can build up the crits in the early game, and then this one can be used late game to be basically give 2 big extra attacks, or 1 extra attack. But overall, not too bad. But other than that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.